Okay, good evening. Good evening. Voice audible or not? Anyone is there? Shall we
So
start
voice
now? Okay, ma. Okay, let us start. Okay, these are the topics are listed out today to discuss. And you might have gone through this, the year gone by Quad's year of Indrigunum. It's regarding the Quad countries. Okay. Quad countries, the inward return, the how the US is taking lot more decision to isolate itself from different criterias. The second one is about that one, and these two topics like related to POSCO cases. So why these articles are today's in the news? Because 2 days before there was a case related to POSCO Act, and a judgment was delivered by Supreme Court related to one clause. It was asked to introduce, that is the Romeo Juliet clause in the POSCO Act, that we will see in detail. Then another is related to delimitation. Okay, the Togudi Maru Siraivu, that means increasing or reducing the constituency of parliament, constituency of parliament. Okay, and how it's going to affect the southern states if it is being implemented. Okay, that point we will discuss under this topic. Then in Science and Tech, today around 10:17 a.m., this rocket is about to launch, and but now it has been set by the director of ISRO that mission has failed. In the third stage, there is a leak in the fuel, so mission has the rocket has been lost in the space. Then during the environment side, there is a forest management committee. What is that all about? This one that we will discuss here. Okay, these are the in summary of today's topic. And exam point of view, you must know what is Quad countries, what are the countries are in the Quads group, how it was implemented, why it is being implemented, and what is the issue nowadays. This one. Then another one, related to polity, this POSCO case, how it is being threatened or act against its purpose, that we have to discuss in terms of mains point of view. Then delimitation committee, already a question has been asked last year, and keep on it has been asked in the prelims also. Okay, so we will see one by one. So now let us go to, okay. This is the a year gone by the Quad's year of Indrignum. Which means if you are having notes, some important point, I will make it here. You just note it down. Okay, and the in the second paragraph they have given about the Quad countries. What is Quad? Who else are the members? And many articles we had already seen in the previous day, the previous months. So Quad members are like-minded countries, and 4 major countries are added here. One is India, Australia, Japan, and US. Okay, so Quad, the abbreviation is quadrilateral countries. Okay, and this is mainly for one the purpose is the provide the security in the Indo-Pacific region. Okay, And the meaning of interregnum, that is means a period when a normal government is suspended, or especially between the two successive reign. Okay, which means by the time the Quad was created, but at this present stage, around two major government has been changed, especially for those two countries. Okay, so what are the cases, or what are the steps are being pending? Okay, which is not still implemented. That issue is highlighted by the author here. Okay, so one issue is related to this paragraph, talking about what are the Quad countries, and this paragraph talk about the role of Trump in this Quad countries, or in the Quad countries. Here, see, Mr. Trump has been one of the key architect of 2017 arrival, and his policy, we know, it has been highlighted by him, that is America First outlook was his entire doctrine is around this outlook. America is the first one. That is why he keep on increasing the tariff, and all steps he is taking in favor of America. And even today also, one of the news, he had himself mentioned the acting president of Peninsula. Okay, so again, related to this issue will be discussed in that tomorrow. And the Quad indeed a priority for the President Trump. That this was said by the Secretary of State, and the group was unable to convene a leader-level summit in 2025, and which was scheduled to be hosted by India. I mean, in the year 2025, last year, the leader-level summit was planned. That means the leader from India and from US and then Australia, okay, and Japan. So the leader level summit is not being yet done. Okay, so this issue is highlighted in this article. Then when it was formed in 2004, in the after the incident took place in the tsunami in the Indian Ocean, and but later it was it was created. Then later it was fully established a rule-based order in the face of growing Chinese expansion in that region. So second purpose is to counter China in the Indo-Pacific region. You just remember the world map. Okay, Indian Ocean, then Indo-Pacific, then Atlantic Ocean. Okay, in the top Arctic, in the bottom Antarctic Ocean. So keep this ocean in your mind, and then read this article. So main purpose is to counteract or to stop growing the Chinese expansion in that region. Okay, and so this is why the Quad at Sea ship observer mission, some missions were happened under this Quad summit. Then even India also already had a naval exercise, Malabar naval exercise, but is not among the four countries. Then as I said in the beginning, the most important is the leader level summit is essential. Okay, because in addition to Mr. Trump, the Japanese Prime Minister Takachi and were not able to attend Quad summit since assumed office in 2025. This is what the topic is highlighted. I said the meaning to interregnum means between the two government. Okay, especially between the successive reigns. Okay, after having the new government, the leaders did not meet once again to discuss about the various issue in and around the Indo-Pacific region. That to be done. This is what the article says. And some more point related to this one. And the Quad group is introduced by or initiated by the Japanese Prime Minister then the Abe when he was a Prime Minister. And it was an idea to creating the he is the only one who proposed that idea. Then in 2012, the same Prime Minister, he said, it's a democratic security diamond in Asia. You noted down. It's a democratic security. The Quad is Okay, democratic security, diamond of Asia. Okay, so this one, and okay, we'll move to the next one. There's another international issue, that is US isolationism will fuel the ethno-nationalism and racist hatred. Okay, this is an ongoing various decision taken by the US, because US has withdrawn its support. US has withdrawn its support from the World Health Organization, and it has withdrawn support from Paris Agreement, COP29, and recently it announced it withdrawn from United Nations Convention, Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, and any other else? These are. So what was the impact if US is withdrawing from these are the major United Nations organization? That's what. So the key concern on the global stage, how the Trump administration is played, is one of the important concern. US would be withdrawing from the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. That is what UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, as well as 65 other international organizations and platforms. So not only these are the major three, around 65 international organization it has withdrawn, describing these as a contrary to the interest of the United States, having already pulled out Paris climate already he pulled out, and this and Mr. Trump had now doubled down on the plan to end all US commitment to fight climate change by and he quick exit from UN related agencies, advisory panel. Okay, and these are all aiming for improving or mitigating the climate change, and encouraging renewable energy, gender equality, minority rights, the rule of law. Okay, but these are all not at all considered by the Trump administration. This is the issue. And so there is a serious questions on real world impact and damage to the existing order that endangered by the US, impending plunge into the pure isolation. So he himself isolated from these important organization, which means taking not being a responsible person for the purpose of this United Nations organization, we can say. Okay, and for example, so the impending plunge means that it will happen very soon. The immediate jump into the isolating himself from other in different direction, we can say. Not to, do not worry about the other people who are surrounding us. Okay, and not to taken care of their worries. Okay, simply let them die, let them at the same time I will also not contribute to the cause which I am creating, because we know the topmost CO2 emission US was the one, and then China. If the topmost CO2 emission is not taking responsibility, at the same time is not ready to reduce his emission, then it is really it is impact to other countries like developing countries and the climate related tragedies. So he must be the responsible person. That is what other countries must highlight in the same international platform, that whatever the US is taking decision to withdraw, such kind of responsible United Nations platform is not a healthy one. This one they have to. Another one, in the World Health Organization, it's not a name shake. The main purpose of World Health Organization is to focus on maternal and infant mortality, disease surveillance, okay, and halting the advance of tuberculosis, malaria, HIV, and AIDS. Okay, and these are all depends on the heavy funding. Even at the time of COVID, the World Health Organization plays a vital role. That was the international organization who spread the message to the world that no need to get panic, and these are the procedure you have to follow, and these are the medication you can take. So such kind of things are needed globally with administrative support as well as the financial support. And as the US is one of the main contributor of these such kind of organization, if it is being withdrawn, then surely it will affect in the short term. So what is the solution? So even though US is not caring about this, all these things, other countries, they have to come together. Especially it is a important role or good opportunity for India, Russia, and China. Okay, and all the major countries, other the second level developed and developing countries, having the opportunities to build the similar fund or more than the fund which is being applied or which is being get by the USA, so that US will realize, okay, taking away or moving away from such kind of organization is somewhat not a correct decision. Okay, புரியுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஓகே, யூஎஸ் தான் நிறைய ஃபண்ட் பண்ணுது. ஓகே, இப்போ இப்போ யூஎஸ் வந்து வித்ட்ரா பண்ணுதுன்னா மற்ற கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல நமக்கு ஒரு வாய்ப்பு. ஓகே, instead of relying on one country, we all together can contribute, we all together can move the purpose of, or we can move to improve the purpose of these our international organization. That means we have to write. Okay, so this is what, so that's what the author has mentioned. It gives space to power players such as China and Russia. Okay, and even many Indian authors themselves, they are always India. India is now at present, India is at the global level, we had a very good position economically. Okay, and so whenever a country is having good at economy, so they can speak loud. And India is the country, they are having the wealthy trade with many developed countries also. So India can take such initiative at the global level. Okay, so that we can raise our voice to common purpose. Okay, so the world has been already witnessed under both Trump administration, which means the first term and second term, deleterious and destabilizing consequences of Washington weaponizing trade tariff. These are the very hard word which has been used by author. We should not use it for the exam purpose. Okay, deleterious means causing a damage or harm to other countries or other things. Okay, and this one. So I think this is sufficient. The two questions. One question, one point is discussed about the US nature, how it is isolating. Instead of saying isolating, it is not ready to take responsibility. One, so responsibility in the sense financial responsibility. So if that is why it isolates itself from these kind of effective organization. Other question from our side, even though if it goes out of this responsibility, collectively we the country, other countries other than 193 countries are there. If you instead of relying on one country, so all other small developed and underdeveloped countries together can contribute. That will make such kind of United Nations more wealthy one for the healthy practices. Okay, or if we all together, the developing and developed countries, we can create similar bodies like United Nations, some other similar body we can create also. Okay, this is what the global leader have to think it together. Okay, so now next one. This is about POSCO case. There are two articles related to this one. இது என்ன எதனால இந்த ஆர்டிகல் மீனா, there's a case in Uttar Pradesh. இது கொஞ்சம் somewhat interesting. என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா, the two boy and girl were in love, but not in love. Somewhat they are in relationship. So the girl side, they raised the complaint. They filed a case over the boy, and by saying that he has committed what we called the statutory rape. Okay, which means the girl is below the age of 18. So he has misled and he has done some illegal things. So that is why under the POSCO Act, the boy was arrested, and later it was found that there is no such things took place between the boy and girl. But they were in a decent relationship, we can say. Okay, so that is why the case went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court worried about such kind of relationship between the boy and girl, and that relationship was is misguided or misleading with the help of the POSCO Act only on the boy side, and the parents from the girl side, they are filing the case against the boys. So similar things, the cases are filed around, especially the Assam and UP and Bihar. Similar, around 80% of the cases were related to this one. So that is why Supreme Court says to the union government, you add one new class or a class in the POSCO Act. The class is they were referring that class is Romeo Juliet class. Okay, it's a Romeo Juliet class. It's one of the act which was introduced in the US. Okay, first it was introduced in the US, and the purpose is the teenagers in the consensual relationship. The consensual relationship now உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் நினைக்கிறேன். Okay, consensual relationship அது ரொமான்டிக்கா இருக்கலாம், இன்டிமேட்டா இருக்கலாம், or between the individuals is based on the mutual agreement. Okay, at the same time it is the request to open communication. அதாவது ரொம்ப தவறாவும் இல்லாம ரொம்ப இன்னோசென்ட்டா இல்லாம நடுவுல சொல்லிக்கலாம். Okay, I do not know how to explain this one. Anyway, the word consensual relationship. Okay, so it was introduced in the US, and mostly it is concerned about the teenagers in the consensual relationship. Okay, were being unfairly criminalized for statutory rape. Okay, this is what that is why they gave the class was added in the US. So similar class, they are informed to the central government to add this one in the POSCO Act, so that such kind of cases will not be targeting only on the innocent boys. Okay, because what the class says, a minimum of 16-year-old having the relationship with the minimum age gap of 3 years would not attract criminal charges. This is what the class in that under the Romeo Juliet Act the class. என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா 16 வயசு கீழ உள்ள old, a minimum 16-year-old having relationship with a minimum age gap of 3 years. அப்புறம் என்ன 16 வயசு பொண்ணு 19 வயசு உள்ள பையனோட ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் இருந்துச்சுன்னா would not a criminal charge இல்ல அப்படின்னு சொல்ல வருது. ஆனா இதுக்கு in-depth some other subclasses are there. What type of relationship? Okay, this is that. I'm talking about a blank statement. Okay, under section 42 or 64 something in that POSCO Act. Okay, and for why they wanted to include, to protect the consensual relationship between the adults and who are close in their age or similar age, so that they are not treated as a criminals under the child protection law. We know child protection law, the POSCO Act is very very strict one, or strong to file the case against the boy rather than the girl immediately. So that is why this clause will protect the consensual relationship between the adults and who are very close in the age or similar age, so that they are not treated by the criminal, treated as criminals. Okay, and then I think this is sufficient. I think so. We will come to the. So based on this idea, we will come to this. We will discuss this article. Okay, and the first one is talks about the performance of fast track court. Okay, This article talks about the performance of fast track special court. This is only created for the protection of the cases which was cases were registered under the protection of children from sexual offences, POSCO Act. Okay, and some of the data has been given. Around 109% disposal rate, close to 87,757 cases were filed. 80,320 were registered. In that, against, okay, yeah, they recorded on a disposal rate and closed. Okay, adala 80,320 cases were closed. Then one statement: the conviction falls and thousands of children remain stuck in long trial with the little support. Why the reason is that the Indian Penal Code and Women's Protection Laws failed to recognize the particular nature of the offense against children. It promised child-friendly procedures, time-bound trials, and a system that would see children differently from adults. Okay, there are 773 fast-track special courts. 400 of them designated. Okay, 400 courts, the court only for the deal with POSCO cases. Okay, so and the fast track special court started in October 2019 with 1,952 crores. The government created one fund, Nirbhaya Fund. They have created, and at the same time, see, come to here. The clearing cases faster means weaker conviction, not better justice. This is what the point is highlighted by author. அதாவது ஒரு கேஸ் வந்து இவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா, நார்மலி we will think that the case must be completed very fast manner. அதனால இது fast track courtனு சொல்லுவோம். ஆனா அதே பாயிண்ட் ஆத்தர் எப்படி கொண்டு வராருன்னா, if a case is clear very faster manner அப்படினாலே the conviction must be very weaker இருக்கும், but justice must not be the better one அப்படின்னு கொண்டு வராரு in certain cases. அது என்னென்ன கேஸ் தானே, ஏன்னா if the case must be, அதனால what happen, there are more accused walking free, the being put behind bar. So fast ஒரு கேஸ முடிக்கிறதுனால many accused, நிறைய criminals, they are walking free. Okay, அப்போ fast track courtல ரெண்டு, one advantage also there, disadvantage also there. Okay, advantage என்னன்னா well known evidence based cases can be the trial can be completed within the minimum period so that the accused will get the punishment. This is one advantage. Disadvantage here it is this one. But the trend enna agudhu appadina, the faster trial not meant fairer verdict. Investigation remain hurried, ரொம்ப ஃபாஸ்டா இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்றது, சார்ஜ் ஷீட் ஸ்டே இன்கம்ப்ளீட். சார்ஜ் ஷீட்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, அதை எஃப்ஐஆர் போட்ட பிறகு குற்றப்பத்திரிகை ரெடி பண்ணுவாங்கல்ல, அந்த குற்றப்பத்திரிகை வந்து நிறைய அது இன்கம்ப்ளீட்டா இருக்கிறது. அப்ப இன்கம்ப்ளீட்டா இருந்ததுனாலே ஓகே, there is less evidence on this boy or this criminal, so I am this person is setting free அப்படின்னு சொல்லிடலாம். அப்புறம் the forensic reports are delayed. Okay, வேணும்னே டிலே பண்ணுவாங்க, especially in overcrowded courts across UP and Maharashtra. So this is one of the negative effect of fast track courts. அதாவது ட்ரையல் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபாஸ்டா போறது. அப்ப இதுக்கு பாசிட்டிவ் எப்படி எழுதணும்? The charge sheet must be prepared in a well mannered. It must be include or consider every aspect in every angle without missing any important evidence. So there's one, and investigation to be conducted in a fair manner, not in a hurried manner. Second. Third, then the forensic reports are delayed. The forensic report to be given or to be based on the weightage of the case, it should not be delayed. Okay. Then fourth, then the overcrowded court, wherever the POSCO related cases are there, the cases must be prioritized so that it can be the important cases to be handled by some other courses to avoid the overcrowded. So these are the negative points. We have to give the solution in a positive way. Okay, இந்த மாதிரி தான் நீங்க எழுதணும் எப்படி எதை கொண்டு வரலாம் அப்படிங்கறது. Then other one, the commission, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights in 2024, அது ஒரு கைட்லைன் கொடுத்திருக்கு. என்ன கைட்லைன்? The support persons guide children through the long and complex justice seeking process, but several states have still to expand them and pre-trial. In many states, even children are not getting that much effective trial or outcome. அதான் சொல்ல வராங்க. எதனால அப்படின்னா already the Supreme Court in December 2025 directed a paralegal volunteers to be appointed at every police station for POSCO case. Okay, the paralegal volunteers yaar அப்படின்னா a trained community-based person. Okay, a trained community-based person. They are the mediator between the victim and the police person. Okay, so that the people they can approach easily or reliably approach to these paralegal volunteers than the police station. Okay, the status report highlights the gaps. Andhra Pradesh, the Andhra Pradesh paralegal volunteers in there are 42 police stations having these PLVs among 919 stations. Tamil Nadu, எந்த police station there is no persons being appointed as PL volunteers, but around 1,577 prisoner. Okay, prisoner. So without PLV என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னு he has explained. The families walk into police station alone, scared, pressured, and ignored. So the case is very severe. The victim has been affected by various different personalities or person from different background. But the victim's family, it is for them, if the victim family is very poor or uneducated or very low level or below poverty level, then surely they will get scared or they can pressurize. Some of the cases has been explained here. Okay, so to avoid such kind of things, every police station where the POSCO acts are being handled, there must be a paralegal volunteer system. Okay, so that they will they will having enough confidence to deal with that kind of cases. இதுல இன்னொன்னு இருக்குது, paralegal இப்ப the PL volunteers வந்து தப்பான ஆட்களா இருந்தா we can't say anything. That is why some other mechanism must be with the government. So there is a monitoring committee, what are the report and the appointment of PLV, their nature, their appointment, how they are dealing with the cases, and the relationship between the victim or convicted person with the PLA. So there is a procedure to appoint the procedure or some of the codes, the legal codes to become or to be a paralegal volunteers in certain police stations. Okay, எதனால இப்ப the absence of PLV ல என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா, see one case they have highlighted here in Uttar Pradesh. One case is there. A few weeks while threatening her family to drop. Here it is. In the Uno rape case, you might have heard this one. Uno rape case in Uttar Pradesh. Several news report point to the initial reluctance by the police to register the case. In a police they வந்து affair போட எடுத்துக்கல. And for a few weeks while threatening her family to drop. So police family drop பண்றது இது பெரிய எடுத்த கேஸ். So no need to involve like that. இன்னொரு கேஸ், the Lathipur rape case in 2022. 13-year-old gang rape survivor was assaulted again at the police station. This is what UP and other northern states there's a scenario. Okay, and the affair was registered only after the intervention of the non-governmental organization. Okay, the presence of PLV could have stopped the threats, ensured the filing of the FIR the same day, and protection of the evidence and their family. This is the importance of PLVs. Okay, that is this what one. Then some other things are very common. Okay, I think this is sufficient. So in this article, the drawback of the faster trial. Second point is the importance of PLVs. Third point, the absence of PLVs. What happened? So that's all. But it looks, I think so. I think this is sufficient. Then come to this article. The POSCO Act must not allow parental pushback against adults. This is what the point I discussed at the beginning. Okay, and how the girls' parents are misusing the POSCO Act. This is what that is what the article talks about. The menace of the POSCO Act. Menace means the danger or threaten. The danger of the POSCO Act being weaponized. இது ஒரு ஆயுதமா பயன்படுத்துறது by the families to punish young persons, but especially young man in romantic relationship with young woman. அதனால தான் Supreme Court they wanted to add one clause and with the guidance. Okay, எந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்பா இருந்தா இந்த they should not file the FIR under this POSCO Act. அதுதான். Okay, and see some of the enforcing parental activity and traditional social boundaries. These are one of the reasons. Then come to this point. See, intended venomine to deter heinous offenders. The act is easily manipulated by disapproving families. In case of elopement crossing caste or religious lines, parent often file charge of kidnapping and sexual assault. Okay, ரெண்டு பேரும் லவரா இருப்பாங்க, வீட்டுல சம்மதிக்கலை, வேற ரிலீஜனா இருக்கலாம், அதர் காஸ்டா இருக்கலாம். Okay, they both know each other that both of the parents not allowed. So next step, in 15 years ago, they will decided to die together. Okay, now they got enough knowledge. Instead of dying, we are loving means we want to live with love. Okay, not to die for love. அதனால என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, they will decide to elopனா வீட்டை விட்டு ஓடி போடுறது. ஓகே, உடனே என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ், பொண்ணை கடத்திட்டான் இல்ல செக்ஷுவல் அசால்ட் பண்ணிட்டான், போடு கேஸ் போஸ்கோ ஆக்ட்ல. So this is what, okay, this trigger the act if the woman is underage. Suppose புள்ள வந்து 18 வயசு கம்மியா இருந்ததுன்னா முடிச்சிருவானுங்க. ஓகே, அதனால சோ இது நடக்காம இருக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காகத்தான் அந்த நியூ கிளாஸ் ஆல்ரெடி ஐ செட். No, if the woman or girl is 16-year-old and if he or she is having in relationship with plus or minus 3, plus minus 3 na romba mosama irukum. So plus 3 irundha, they should not file the case under this one. But at the same time, what Supreme Court says, you have to analyze the other background, their relations, and they have to concentrate on other matters instead of directly filing FIR and bring the young man under this POSCO Act. Okay, this is what, a minimum 16-year-old having the relationship with a minimum age gap of 3 years would not attract or would not treat it as a criminal charges. Okay, and but mostly the parent, they will inform the police to file the case on the boy under the statutory rape. Statutory rape, na, a sexual activity with a person under 18 considered as a statutory rape. ஓகே, இதுதான் ஒரு கேஸ் யூபில வந்ததுனால. பட் கோர்ட் வந்து கேர்ளை எக்ஸாமின் பண்ண அனுப்பியிருக்கோம். பட் இந்த எக்ஸாமின் பண்ணும்போது there was no such kind of sexual assault by a boy. Okay, so the later boy was freed, but at the same time the boy and boy family underwent different social pressure and studies, everything. Okay, the case was taken in different direction. Then finally it was went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ordered the central government to add such kind of clause to avoid such kind of criminal unfair criminal proceeding. Okay, and the Law Commission also says in the 2023 report, advising against lowering the general age of consent from 18. Okay, Law Commission என்ன சொல்றா, advising against lowering the general age of consent. அதாவது ஒரு பர்சன் வந்து the relationship முடிவெடுக்கிறது concern lowering the 18, but at the same time என்ன danger இருக்குன்னா such as trafficking and child marriage. ஓகே, ஏன்னா 18 வயசு வச்சுதானே அப்ப வயசே நம்ம ஒரு 16 வயசு குறைச்சிட்டோம்னா இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம் வராதேன்னு நினைக்கும் போது அதே ஒரு மறுபடியும் அது ஒரு த்ரெட்டனிங் மாறும். அதை வச்சு கடத்தலாம், சைல்டு மேரேஜ் என்கரேஜ் பண்ண மாதிரி இருக்கும். So it is also highlighted that treating two teenagers being close together with a severity reserved for predatory abuse is developmentally counterproductive and recommended introducing guided judicial discretion in sentencing in case involving adolescents age 16 to 18. That is, instead of going for the criminal charges, you can guide them. Likewise, the court has ordered that in last second curb these means in the mari threatening or damage வந்து சீக்கிரம் இது பண்ணுங்க. So அதுக்கு you can take some steps. This is what the article talks about. Okay, and this one is related to delimitation. The delimitation already was in news in many months before and many year ago. ஏன்னா அதாவது இதுக்கு தமிழ்ல சொன்னா தொகுதி மறுசீராய்வு. ஓகே, ஓகே, அதாவது ரீட்ராயிங் ஆர் increasing or decreasing the constituency of the particular constituency based on the population. Okay, so idoda plus minus simply he has explained enna especially southern states have found that reducing population growth and improving health and education led to serious disadvantage. Enna நாம தான் population growth reduce பண்ணிருக்கோம் and education improve பண்ணிருக்கோம். Okay, health also improved. இதுவே ஒரு த்ரெட்டா வருது under the concept of delimitation. என்ன அப்படின்னா the finance commission என்ன அது finance commission yesterday we were the last class we discussed no the 16th finance commission, it reduced allocation of the south as a population size carries 50% weight on the redistribution of the union tax revenue. அதாவது tax share பண்றது கான்செப்ட் இருக்குல்ல by finance commission finance commission வந்து ஒரு ரெக்கமெண்ட் தான் கொடுக்கும். ஓகே, finance commission வந்து அப்படியே ஃபாலோ பண்றது இல்ல, but it recommends to the state that based on the 50% population, based on 50% population the revenue share பண்ணலாம். அப்போ more than இப்போ வந்து our population is around 4 crore இருக்கு வச்சுக்கோ. இப்போ UP population is too high compared to Tamil Nadu, which means based on the formula carried by the finance commission, the UP will get more amount, the more share. At the same time, Tamil Nadu is contributing more but getting less. Okay, this is what one of the disadvantage of decreasing population. ஏன்னா நாம எப்படி population decrease பண்ணுங்கிறது that is different. That is because we got awareness, we educated the people, and okay, this one. So the first one. It's the first one. Second threat, the protection of this, the proportion of seats will remain the same, but the gap in the absolute number of seats widened run up to in the 2029 election they had to go for the delimitation. அப்படி பார்த்தானா நமக்கு வந்து at present 40 the 39 plus 1 Lok Sabha seats are there. It may go down, and in 80 Lok Sabha seats are there for UP. It may be doubled or it may go more than the 150 something or 120 or based on the population. Okay, so unequal disturbances are there, distributions are there. Okay, and indirectly it will affect our strength in the Lok Sabha. And southern state, this is one nice statement here. Southern states be punished for having invested better in health, education that helped to reduce population growth by having their Lok Sabha seats reduced, thereby losing relative political and fiscal power. இதெல்லாம் ஒன்னு தனியா வேணா நோட்ல எடுத்து வச்சுக்கோ. Okay, we are punished, and அதுக்காக example we should not write we are punished. Okay, it's a federal country, and whatever the actions are taken place by the government organization and constitutional bodies, that we should not question. At the same time, we can highlight the southern state that we reduce the population and by better education and better health. Okay, and but most of the population increase since 1991. It happened in the northern state like Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so these are the state may get more fund and more seats of Lok Sabha based on the population. So இது எப்படிலாம் வந்து அஃபெக்ட் ஆனுங்க. So என்ன பண்ணலாம்? What we can do? Okay, so what are the solutions to prevent unfair outcome of delimitation in the south? Okay, so first point என்ன அப்படின்னா first point first to increase the total number of seats. Lok Sabha seats while retaining the current proportion among the state the 2011 census basis. Okay, 2011 census vachi. Okay, so in 2011 census they can increase the Lok Sabha seats. Okay, and with no seats losing. Then second, they can raise the total number of Lok Sabha seats and also introduce equality amongst in the Rajya Sabha. Or well, okay, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, we are coming. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabha seats it may increase or decrease. At the same time, Rajya Sabha seat idukku equal proportion increase panniko. Ana either the ruling party will not accept. Yeah, Rajya Sabha also plays a crucial role while taking decision on the bills. Okay, decision on the bills. The bill must be passed both the house. If the bills are not passed by the Rajya Sabha, then it won't become act. Okay, and third suggestion we can give to raise the number of seats in the Vidhan Sabha. Vidhan Sabha means state legislature. State legislature. சட்டமன்றம் சொல்லுவோம்ல. So at least அங்க increase the Lok Sabha, increase the legislature seat 1000 per population each state. அப்ப தேர்ட் செகண்ட் சிமிலர். எப்படின்னா இப்ப இங்க 234 எம்எல்ஏ இருக்கிறாங்க தமிழ்நாட்டுல. இப்ப நான் 234 எம்எல்ஏ வந்து நான் 500 எம்எல்ஏ டபுளா மாத்திரம் வச்சுக்கோ, 468 மாத்திரம் வச்சுக்கோ. ஓகே, ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா ராஜ்யசபா சீட் will increase based on the a proposed number of MLAs. One MP can be seat can be increased in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so எப்படி பார்த்தாலும் Rajya Sabha seating ஒன்னு, அதாவது either you do this one or you do third point. It's up to the government to decide. And finally, the last is to raise the total number of Lok Sabha seats, but change current ratio to 60% seats allowed the population side. It depends upon the reduced 60%. You can buy the legislation will be there. Okay, and this is what the 4 suggestion. Itaniya neenga note panni vechukonga. And Finance Commission enna criteria use பண்றங்கிறது these paragraphs talks about. The first, they are talking about income distance equality. That's 50% weightage given to the state having the lower income. நமக்கு வந்து higher income. According to Finance Commission, if the lower income state should get more amount, the higher income state should give less amount. Higher income state we are contributing more, but we are getting less in return. Another criteria, population size. Okay, and instead of so here the Finance Commission have used either 2011 census population or 1971 population to reward population control effect. Okay, so they have to be rationalized this one. In the population you are going to consider. And third one, will they consider the democratic performance? Okay, like the state has to be rewarded those who reduce the fertility rate, maternal mortality rate idella. And fourth one, the tax effort. The Finance Commission reward the state that mobilize their own tax revenue and thus encourages responsible financial management. Okay, so that is why finally what he says, the southern state have no choice but to join hands around the decreasive proportionality principle and build consensus before the center constituted the delimitation committee. அதாவது என்ன, இந்த delimitation committee அமைக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னால the southern state must approach and must give some of the alternative suggestion for not affecting in the not affecting due to the delimitation committee. Okay, yeah. So this is a good article, but you can. And some other points, no, that is not because this much is sufficient. And this one already said this mission got failed. So once again, it will come into news that we will discuss. And this is one small news. The forest management committee in the tribal areas. So where how the environment ministry is going to fund this committee. This is what they have discussed. Okay, and especially. The forest for which the rights have been vested in the Grama Sabha of the tribal communities. Okay, and other forest developers across the country under Forest Rights Act. Okay, and so there are there are guidelines of how the forest the reform committee will be. That's what how they are going to get the forest management being funded by the environment ministry. So here for the last 20 years, the FRA has been recognized the historical rights of scheduled tribe communities and other forest dwellers and the forest they have lived in and around the vested these rights in them. This is the definition about the role of Forest Rights Act. Okay, the Forest Rights Act, how it is recognizing the rights of the scheduled communities. This one and another one. So under the FRA and Gram Sabha are entitled to include community forest resources rights. So two rights are discussed. One is Forest Rights Act and the Community Forest Resource Act. They have been traditionally they are protecting and regenerating and conserving and managing for sustainable use. Okay, so in 2023, the Tribal Affairs Ministry issued guidelines for the management of forest, for which community forest resources have already been granted to the Gram Sabha. These guidelines provide enough guidelines provide for setting up CFR, the forest resource, right? Community forest resource management committee under the title holding Gram Sabha. Okay, mandating that conservation and management plans be drawn by the communities before the forest department is called in align them with the okay. Rather, in the community forest reserve management committee, they are under the Grama Sabha. So whatever the conservation plan or any other plan, they have to give report to the Gram Sabha. Then through Grama Sabha, it will come into the through the ministry directly, so that the fund will be allotted. Okay. So at last point, if needed, the safeguards can be built into the plan and management remains community-led and it is not necessarily taken over by the forest department. Okay, that means more focus, more weight on community, especially the tribal community. That also comes under the Grama Sabha, the tribal area. This is what the news. I think these are the major topics. Yeah, and discuss doubt in the K2go. And what are the static points I have mentioned here? Noted down separately. Okay, I think this is sufficient, and we can leave now. Shall we leave? Okay, thank you then.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, ma.